Hey guys, it's Iris Green with Military Home Base, and we're bringing you our new series, My PCS Story, where we talk about military spouses and veterans and what they went through on their PCS journey, in hopes that it can help some of you answer some questions about experiences that you're having or may have. So today we're with Tricia Hershfeld, and Trish is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. She works with me. She's my assistant, and I can never be rid of her. She has all my passwords. So, not that I would.
All of
She's
them.
fantastic. So today we're talking to Trish about her PCS and the PCS she has coming up. So, Trish, talk to me a little bit about your first PCS. How long ago was it?
We're going on 3.5 years now.
So you've only moved once, right? With the military?
With the military once, yes.
So far.
So far, we've probably got about 4 total moves left, and I am very scared for our upcoming PCS.
So I know you can't really talk about where you're going, but we know it's overseas.
Yes.
And I know you're super excited about it. And we were able to track down another spouse that came from the place that you're going to. So talk to me a little bit about your first PCS. How was it? What challenges did you have? What do you wish that you had known before you started this journey?
For me, it was about housing. I knew that there was going to be a really long wait, but I didn't expect it to be 14 months for just me and my husband, no kids.
Yeah. And that was to get on base, right?
Yes, that was to get on base. And we had lived off base at our last duty station before this one. And it was fine because I was from an hour away. Like, I'd grown up an hour away in Maryland. So I kind of still knew the area. But here, coming to MacDill, I really wanted to stay on base just for the safety of knowing where the PX is, where the commissary is. I wouldn't have to travel far. I could stay in like a safe zone.
Right.
But that was unrealistic. When we came down here to bring my husband's car, we went to the housing office and they suggested that we look at apartments on this list they had. And a lot of the apartments on there let you pay like $1,000 in advance to break the lease when housing was available. Well, we stayed in one in St. Pete, and we lived on air mattresses and air furniture, like chairs, actual chairs filled with air, for a whole month before we finally got a house. We ended up buying new construction.
And you guys had pets at the same time. You were living on this inflatable furniture because you have cats.
Well, we had the 2 dogs with us, and then thank God for my mother-in-law, because she kept the 2 cats with her until we got a place.
So how long were you essentially homeless when you got here? And just for those of you that don't know, Trish is currently at MacDill Air Force Base. That is in Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
So talk to me about that.
So we were in so we found the apartment probably 2 or 3 days after we got here. And we immediately left the housing office, sad because we couldn't get housing on there. And we went to this apartment building and they offered the $1,000 to break the lease, and we signed it right then and there. We were able to do our deposits and move in a couple days.
That's pretty good, because some people have to stay in temporary living situations for sometimes weeks. And by temporary living, I mean like hotels, which if you've PCS with dogs, yeah, more than one dog. I have 4, Trish has 2. It's not fun sharing a hotel room with all of your animals, but it's something we pet lovers must deal with when we PCS. Did you guys run into any issues with breed restrictions or anything like that when you were looking for private housing?
We did not, because we decided not to rent at all. We were just going to buy, and we looked at a few places, but we were at a time crunch because our goods had to be delivered. Like, it was either put them in storage and then move them on our own later, or just get a new construction, because we knew we could move in within 30 days and just have our goods delivered. And of course, my husband had to go overseas for work when our goods were being delivered. So I had to unpack
how it works
all by myself.
That's how it usually works, right? As soon as you get in, they're gone, and you get to deal with all the fun of unpacking. Because even though we all know that the movers are supposed to unpack if we request, the reality is that doesn't happen very often. Usually you end up with all the boxes and paper and the mess left behind. Yeah. since you had to make that decision so fast to buy a house, because that's pretty scary. I mean, you go into a huge amount of debt in a very short period of time with almost no time to think about it. How do you feel about that decision now, deciding to purchase?
At first, it was amazing. We loved having our own home. I mean, the stuff we could do to it was just phenomenal. We could paint, we could build, we could do whatever we wanted. Did we do all of that? No, we didn't do any of it. We laid floors, and that was it. And that's only because we're planning on selling, and we need to keep up with the neighborhood.
Right.
But now I'm scared. I'm scared that we won't be able to sell in time, and I'm worried that if we decide to rent, if something breaks, we're held liable for that. And I mean, going overseas, that's just terrifying to leave this home here and worry about tenants. And then to sell it, if we don't sell it in time, we're overseas. What are we going to do?
You'll have a house payment and rent. That's
Yes.
a lot. That's a lot to come out of pocket unexpectedly. So, is there anything that would you have made a different decision looking back?
Honestly, we definitely saved money with BAH by buying, but we could have found a home that fit us better, a smaller home for about the same price we paid in mortgage. But I do love my house. I love it so much. We have free reign here. I mean, our community is really nice. They're constantly building over here. I had my first daughter, or my only child, my daughter here. It's just,
you said first, that suggests there's another one.
No. Don't even, oh gosh, oh no.
She's going through the toddler phases right now, so hence this response.
She's biting and hitting, and I'm just trying to breathe.
She's hitting her terrible twos early. Nothing wrong with that. That means she's an achiever. She's an overachiever. she's ahead of her time, her age. So we know now from the beginning of our broadcast that you guys are getting ready to PCS overseas to a European country. How scary is that?
I am equally nervous and scared. I'm excited too, but I'm more worried about taking 4 animals over there and finding housing. And I know that I can still work from there, but it's navigating that time difference. So, and taking a child, I wouldn't even know the first thing about finding healthcare in a foreign country, or anything like schools. I mean, what age do they go to school over there? Is it the same here? I have no idea.
Yeah. So one of the fantastic things that we've been able to do, partially through the My PCS stories, as we talk to spouses that have experienced PCSs or getting ready to, we are able to match Trish with a spouse that moved here from where she's going. So we'll be connecting you with her probably today or tomorrow. And she's said that you can ask her anything. She said, I hope you don't expect it sugar-coated because I'm going to give it to her. And I told her that's what you prefer.
Yes.
Your eyes open. So is there anything else that you would like to share about your story, or tips that you would like to share that maybe a new spouse experiencing their first PCS might find valuable?
My first tip would be find out about housing immediately. Yeah. Figure out if you want to rent or buy. Get a good realtor. Iris Green, if you're coming to Tampa.
Thank you.
And get started on those, because I waited. I figured we'd get there and we'd have housing. Where we were before had an abundant amount of housing. There was no wait at all. And I just assumed it was like that everywhere because it was my first time.
Right.
And ask questions. I mean, I love the wives pages. I mean, I go on there, and if I have even one tiny question about dogs, I get a million responses about other things I haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, our spouse groups are pretty fantastic. Facebook has been a huge boon for the military spouse community because we now have access to spouses that are living where we're going to be. They're doing it right now. They can give us timely information, timely updates. And it's a great place to talk about housing, especially considering what's happening with on-post housing right now, with all of the maintenance issues that you and I see in some of our groups every day. It's valuable to know if that base is being effective and who is the maintenance company or management company that's there. So that's been a really powerful tool that Facebook, when we did our first PCS, we didn't have Facebook. So we flew blind, and our first apartment was kind of scary because we had to rent from a distance. So I hear you on that. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap up for today. If you have a PCS story that you would like to share that you think other spouses might find useful, beneficial, amusing, we're open to funny stories too, scary, something to watch out for, we would love to hear from you. And remember, Military Home Base brings you home one base at a time. Have a great afternoon, everybody.